Welcome to Hey Dr. Sue. So people submit their sex questions to me anonymously, and once a week I post one question and one answer. Do you have a sex question you've always wanted answered? Go ahead and check out the description for information on how to submit it anonymously.
This week's question is, if people who are trans, pansexual, non-binary, etc. have always existed, why is it so important to have all these new terms now? So first off, thank you for this question, because it gives me an opportunity to respond to people who say, back in my day, there were only men and women, or people have always been straight. And that's just not true. The language that's used to talk about gender and orientation are specific to a culture, and those terms change over time as cultures evolve and as knowledge changes. There was a time when we didn't know what bacteria was, and so all things coming from the penis were seen as bad. Now we know there's a difference between discharge from an STI and a man coming, hence the terms discharge and ejaculate. 40 years ago, we as a culture may have talked about male and female bodies because that's all we really understood. But it doesn't mean that there weren't folks who were intersex. It just means that we shoved them into one of these two boxes that we as a culture were making available. Sometimes that involved really unnecessary genital surgeries and often involved lying to kids for decades. There was a time when being trans was seen as a mental disorder. Now we understand that it's people feeling distress because their body parts don't match how they feel. Non-binary people have always existed, and some cultures throughout history have not only acknowledged them, but gave them sacred roles, like those who are two-spirited in many Native American tribes. The labels of heterosexual and homosexual are only a few hundred years old. They haven't been around forever. By the way, small aside here, this is where I'd love to do a deep dive into the history of orientations and genders, but that's beyond me. If you're a sociologist or historian who has some thoughts and would want to work with me, let me know. I also have other questions we could work on together. All right, back to the post. If we live in a culture that only uses a binary gender system, then the term pansexual can't exist because it goes beyond the binary. So as terms evolve, our understanding of the wide range of sexes and genders and orientations also evolve, which leads to new terms. Here's the important thing. Trans people and non-binary people have always existed. They may just have never been open about it because it was unsafe to do so, or because they couldn't proudly label themselves as something if the label didn't exist. New labels, new terms, what they do is help people find their identity and express themselves and present themselves in ways that feel true to who they are. And the label can help validate them. It can also help improve their quality of life. When people get to live openly and honestly, it can help them feel better about themselves. It can also help reduce anxiety and depression. And then when other people use the correct terms to address folks who are trans and non-binary, that can also be impactful. Not only does it validate them, but it helps them feel safer and included, and it can also decrease risk of suicide. So why is it important to use these new terms? Because people have the right to be seen for who they are, and they have the right to feel included and accepted. And that's what changes in language help to do. Until next time, be safe and have fun.
Did you like that video? If so, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That way you'll know when new videos come out. Also check out the description to find out how to find me on Instagram, Medium, and Threads. And make sure to check the description for links where you can submit your own sex question.